Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the 5 things we learned. Yeah, it's still the World Cup series. It's Netherlands 2, Japan 2. A very, very beautiful match. I think for me, this is the best match that I have seen in this World Cup time, because we see how tight it is. It's a match that we have always been expecting. I think we have spoken so much about wanting to see Japan play, and even playing against Netherlands showed like, okay, this is a very, very beautiful match. What's your thoughts about this match overall?
Yeah, I think it was a very, very decent game. A lot of tactical things that we saw in the game. It was difficult. It was cagey. At least for the first, let's say for the first 60 minutes was cagey. Towards the end, it became loose because of fatigue and the likes. But I think we saw a lot of good things there. And kudos to both sides, really.
Yeah, so let's go into the 5 things we learned. I think I would like you to just touch a little bit. I don't know if this is part of what you want to speak about. So how you just expand a little bit on that tactical part of the game, because I saw that you were speaking so much about the shape, taking some particular shape to block some things to happen. Just push us into it a little bit.
For Japan, for the first 5 minutes of that game, we found out that off the ball, in the mid block off the ball, they were using a 3-2-5 shape, and I think the 3-2-5, but the 3 in front were to stop the likes of Van der Ven, the likes of the 2 center backs, Van Dijk and the likes, and then Dumfries. And then we also now saw, because it was a 3-2-5, because of the 2 in the center, there was a lot of spaces at the side because the wing backs were dropping too deep to make the 5 in the back. So what we now found out was that Netherlands now try to operate in that hole that is in the midfield.
On the 2 sides.
That's why we now saw that in the first half, after the first 5 minutes, that offered a little bit of difficulty to Netherlands in terms of beating up. We now found out that, the likes of Summerville was now dropping to space in a way to kind of like drag the wing back out of full position. I think that's where the challenges for Japan started to come in. And I think also, when they now saw that situation, Japan had decided to block those channels. So from a 3-2-5, they wanted to block those channels. They now went back to a 4-4-2. And when they went to a 4-4-2, you are still having, Dumfries and Summerville were doing their rotation. Sometimes you see Summerville playing as a 2, you see Dumfries playing as a winger there. And then you now see that because they were now like in 2 in front, so before, when they were 3, they were blocking the central channels. Like so
there was no build up at those points in time.
But when it now became 2, it was now a 3v2, and De Jong was not able to receive the ball. And I think when Frankie De Jong is a fantastic player, when he gets to receive the ball, when he gets to touch the ball, that's when the difficulties for Japan came on. So what we also now saw is that the other side, because when you look at the goals that came in for Netherlands, they came in from the right hand side. I think that's one of the things that the manager also did. I think that place was a weak point in terms of the likes of Summerville was a constant threat. And even towards the end, and if Summerville was on the pitch, maybe they might have even gotten the 3rd goal, because you can see that Dumfries was taking some crosses in that situation. But I think that was what we saw. But okay, I think that's the first point.
I think that explains it very much, because I was looking at the game. I think when they went back into because I saw a little bit of the 5-3-2 in the off the ball, but when they went back into the 4-4-2, I think I liked the way they were. But the point is, they were now very deep.
Exactly.
So the Netherlands had the opportunity to like build up into the game.
Exactly.
But one of the things that they did very well in the 4-4-2 was making sure that there was nothing going on in the pocket, and then when the ball went to the side, they were able to double up, most especially on Gakpo's side. But I think with the brilliance of Summerville and the rotation, like you spoke about with Dumfries, it was Ada on the left hand side to be able to play. But let's go into the second thing.
So the second thing is that we found out that it was kind of like a surprise in the sense of Holland, obviously, when it comes to corners, crosses, which was also from Van Dijk, fantastic goal from Van Dijk, we saw that there are a constant trade when it comes to aerial ball. But the funny thing is that with the height of the likes of Marlen,
Gakpo, Van der Ven, Van Dijk.
So what we found out is that let's even forget even defenders, or even the forwards, when they decide to go long, because that should be one of their strengths also, that's Holland. When they try to go long, they don't necessarily, they had a lot of turnovers. I'm not sure I think the only one time they went long that they were able to retain the ball was when Brian Brobry
came into the match.
And that was like a surprise. But the fact is, it was a surprise because they are good when it comes to crosses.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
being the target man to get the ball and win the second ball.
And so I think that's one of the things that Koeman will be looking at in sense of yes, you have Depay, you have Malen, but also when you want to go long, you might not be able to do that well with Depay, you might not be able to do that well with Malen, but Brobby can also offer that situation. So that was the second thing I saw there.
But one of the things that surprised me the most in this match is when we're looking at the heights. I don't think Japan comes anywhere near the Netherlands. But you look at the job that they actually did when it comes to like clearing the area balls. I think they did superbly well. So
I think it's also a function of, obviously, yes, height matters. Height plays a part, but also it also depends on how you're able to lift. It depends on how you're able to
use your body.
And I think they did that way. And also not even how they use their body alone. I think when you look at certain situations, whenever even though they don't win the first ball, they are always closely to capitalize on the second balls.
Jump on it quickly. All right. So let's go into the third thing. What else again?
So the third thing is obviously everybody knows even before the tournament that this corner kicks will be corner kicks, crosses, swingers will be an issue for Japan. And it will be an issue for them defensively, also be an issue for them attacking. It was surprising that the second goal.
I was very surprised. I didn't believe it.
Came for that situation, but I think it was a surprise really. But I felt that it's something that nothing can do about genetics and the height. Well, we have always known there's going to be an issue. But I think one of the things that I saw at the end of the first that I felt was going to be a strength for Japan, and I felt it ended up becoming a strength, is the fact that Netherlands for most part of the game used a 5-4-1 off the ball shape, and because of the way Japan is in a 3-4-2-1 shape, so they have the ability with their wing backs to create 5 in front. And what we found out was that the shape is just zonal. There is no active defending within the spaces.
You were speaking about it.
They might be closer together, but the fact is when you try to
play through them.
It was easy to play possible. Through them. I know Japan discovered that late. I saw because there was a particular pass that Japan made into the space towards the end of the first half that just went through, and the person got it and shot the ball, but it reached the side netting. That was the part I began to suspect that these their 5-4-1, no matter how compact it might look like, it's not compact. It's not that solid. It's not solid. I think we saw that. But it was late already. It was after it was 2-1 when Japan had decided to have the ball, to move the ball. That's when they now began to find out that
this thing is actually weakness.
It's not really as solid as
I think I saw it like some glimpses here and there, and I think it even happened in the first half. Where I was saying it to myself, like when Netherlands gets the ball in the attacking sense, they were a little bit faster and they were kicking the ball around. But when it was Japan's turn, when Japan got the ball, it was more like they were just looking for that weak part and they pump the ball through. So most of the time when they get the ball, they don't need 17 touches to like get into the final thought. They just pass the ball, just boom, and it gets there up front. I think so that I really buy into that. So let's go into the fourth thing.
So the fourth thing was, as I said, second half, I think it really should. I think second half, as what you said, in the sense of first half, it was more surgical. That's why I said it was a piercing pass that opened the play. But I think they had more, they had more in terms of touches at the side. They focused more on using the sides to create those overload situations, and even sometimes when they were even outnumbered, I think that's to Netherlands. Netherlands needs to do a lot of work, in sense of if they want to win the tournament or go far, they have to stop the situation. There was a point in time where I saw kind of like a 4v2 situation, and
on the right hand side
went through. On the right hand side, and Japan still went through that. So, in as much as yes, you have the likes of De Jong on the ball, you have to grab a bench on the ball, but defensively also you have to be solid. You have to be solid. And I felt that, but the sad thing now, which is the 4 points, is the fact that when Japan got this 2-2 goal, I know yes, everybody had their different expectations. Nobody expects Japan to win the World Cup, but it's a game, and what you can control is the game. I felt that they had the momentum. They appeared fresher. They appeared fitter. They should have
gone for it
again, and maybe they would have.
I think it's a mentality thing, because I was really somsurprised when they were 0-0, it was kind of like even the fan base for the Netherlands, they were in the momentum, they were jumping, but for the Japanese, they were just Yeah, and when they scored the goal, it was like, oh, they were cheering. They scored the second one, they were cheering.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mentality thing. Maybe where they think they are, all right, maybe we cannot necessarily beat these people. So getting a draw is something that they are happy with. So let's speak about the last one. And then
so the last one is that both teams have a lot of things to improve upon. I feel that, for example, Japan has to take more authority in the game. They have to be more brave. As you say, I think they were brave, but they started to become brave at the wrong time. And I think they over-respected Netherlands. Yes, I think they over-respected Netherlands. And when they now begin to see that there were weaknesses, then we capitalize. I think Netherlands also has to work with defensively. I think they have to do in terms of not just having that amazing 5-4-1 or whatever shape they're having. They need to be compact within the spaces to ensure that they're able to defend. And also, I think even their activities on the ball wasn't really as potent as you would want, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Wasn't really as potent as you want. And I think also they have to understand that everybody knows what Frankie de Jong can do, and everybody's going to prepare to play against that. So people know, so those ability of Frankie de Jong to drive into space, to carry the ball and drive into space, it's not going to be possible because people already understand. And I think the likes of Gravenberch, the likes of Rangers need to take up responsibility.
Yeah, also
to be able to head those situations. But I think they had a good performance like Summerville. I'm happy he deserved it in terms of the movement it was having. Even Dumfries was causing a lot of problems in terms of he wasn't really playing all the time as a 2.
Yeah, sometimes he even played in the half spaces.
So it was amazing, really.
So I think it was a decent game for me. I think I loved what I saw. I've been speaking about it. Like, we want to see the beautiful games, and I think this one is one of it. But one person, what do you have to say about somebody like Gakpo in this match? Do you think he underplayed, or maybe it was the low block? It wasn't as effective as you would want a Gakpo to be. Even though there were certain moments where, say from Suzuki, the goalkeeper.
But I felt, in that kind of Holland team, you want him to, the way Summerville was doing all those,
driving in, going into the bar line. I think he was too conservative. When he gets the ball, he wants to turn back and give somebody
someone that can actually
go into the bar line, make cuts back, make crosses, and do all of those things. But it was a very decent match. I think we enjoyed this one. So guys, thank you very much for joining us. This is brought to you by Vertical Football. It's Netherlands 2, Japan 2. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done that. We see you some other time. Namaste.